Good afternoon. Bonjour. Since this pandemic began, we have known that COVID-19 is spread through the movement of people. The more we have been able to reduce the movement of people, the slower the spread to the virus. This is even more critical now. Cela est d'autant plus important depuis l'apparition de nouveaux variants de la COVID-19, puisqu'ils se propagent plus rapidement et facilement. Nous avons vu cette situation dans d'autres provinces. Bien qu'il soit impossible de complètement arrêter les déplacements à l'intérieur et à l'extérieur de la province, nous devons prendre des mesures afin de limiter la propagation du virus alors que nous continuerons à vacciner les gens. Currently, 31% of New Brunswickers have received at least the first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, and we are increasing that number at a rate of approximately 6,000 to 7,000 per day. We feel that by late May, we will be in a better position as a province to be able to keep residents healthy and safe while not putting undue strain on our healthcare system. To give our province the time and space required to be in a better position, Cabinet and the All-Party Cabinet Committee on COVID-19 have agreed to the following isolation recommendations. Effective at 11:59 p.m. on Saturday, all leisure and non-essential travelers, every person approved to move to New Brunswick, and all business travelers who are not rotational workers, truckers, or commuters will be required to isolate for at least the first 7 days of their 14-day isolation in an isolation hotel at their own expense. This rule applies regardless of whether or not the traveler has been vaccinated. Isolation hotels will be located in Fredericton, St. John, Moncton, Miramichi, Bathurst, Campbellton, and Woodstock. Currently, there are no isolation hotels in the area under lockdown. These hotels will be coordinated by the Canadian Red Cross, which will also provide meals, attend to medical needs, and provide 24/7 security. It is expected that the cost to each traveler will be about $200 per day. For direction on which hotel you should go to upon arrival, call the travel registration number at 1-833-948-2800, and an agent will assist you. On day 5 of the hotel isolation, the traveler will take a COVID-19 test, with the results expected on day 7. If the traveler tests negative for COVID-19, they can finish their 14-day isolation at home, as long as no one else is there, and on the condition that they must also test again on day 7, or on day 10. Travelers must travel from hotel to home alone or by taxi, but always following the public health measures when they are traveling. No family pickups or carpooling is permitted. Peu importe les exigences du gouvernement fédéral en matière d'isolement après un voyage. Une fois que vous entrez au Nouveau-Brunswick, vous devez suivre cette exigence à la lettre. The practice of hotel isolation is expected to remain in place until late May. Also effective on Saturday at 11:59 p.m., new rules will apply to every New Brunswick resident who leaves and returns to the province on a regular basis, including truck drivers and commuters, with the exception of rotational workers. Once they return to New Brunswick, this group of travelers will need to stay at home, except as needed, to meet medical needs or to obtain the necessities of life, as long as they can do so without contact with others, such as by using curbside pickup or delivery. Cette règle s'applique peu importe si ce groupe de voyageurs a été vacciné ou pas. Les membres qui font partie d'un ménage de voyageurs ne sont pas obligés de rester à la maison, mais ils devraient limiter le contact avec les voyageurs puisqu'il y a des risques. Ils devraient éviter tout contact autant que possible pour des raisons de sécurité. After 14 days at home, truckers and commuters can leave their home as their health zone phase allows. All of these isolation requirements will be reevaluated weekly, but are expected to remain in place until near the end of May. Upon their return to New Brunswick, rotational workers will need to self-isolate for 14 days. If they choose to isolate with their family, then everyone must self-isolate for the full 14 days. Like everyone who is coming into New Brunswick, truck drivers will now need to register to re-enter the province. Il y a la possibilité de s'inscrire à la frontière, mais cela vous ralentira. Vous voudrez peut-être vous inscrire en ligne à l'avance. There will also be an increased presence of peace officers at Olac on the border between Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. Students returning to New Brunswick from anywhere in Atlantic Canada that is considered to be in a hot zone, currently this includes the Halifax Regional Municipality, as well as anyone who is with them and helping them move, must self-isolate for 14 days, effective immediately. As of Sunday night, at midnight, students returning to the province from a hot zone will be required to isolate in a designated hotel at the province's expense. As with other groups, they will be tested on day 5 with the option of finishing at home starting day 7 if the test is negative. This program will be overseen by the Canadian Red Cross, and information will be provided when students register to return to New Brunswick. Minimum fines are increasing from $292.50 to $580.50 for those who violate the mandatory order. And I appreciate, while in many areas throughout our province, in most areas, we have a high degree of compliance, in the 90%, 95%, sometimes higher. The criticality of the situation today necessitates an urgency around any non-following of the rules. We must ensure that we are following health codes like never before, because a single miss can have such a dramatic impact on our entire province. There are also, we know, some that aren't taking the situation seriously. And while, as Dr. Russell explained yesterday, and while the COVID rules that we have in place may have been extremely effective with COVID as it once was, with the variant, it is much more critical for us to take additional due care and attention. I understand that we've provided a lot of information today. We've done so quickly. We've spent time with our COVID cabinet colleagues and our cabinet colleagues, and we've certainly reacting to the situation that we're finding, not only in New Brunswick, but throughout the region. What we're seeing right now in Nova Scotia, what we've been seeing for weeks in Ontario and in Quebec, and we have 10 weeks in order to achieve success here. We have vaccines that are coming now at an unprecedented rate to what we had seen in the past. We can vaccinate 45,000 a week easily, and we can go beyond that if the vaccines allow that to happen. We're optimistic we will be able to increase our capability because vaccine supply will also increase. But right now, if you don't need to come to New Brunswick, don't come here. We want you, just not right now. If you can delay your move to our province by a month or so, then please do so. If you don't need to travel, stay at home. If you are, for example, currently at a resort in Florida and are able to stay there for another month, please do so. The risk to you and to everyone you come into contact with is simply too high. Back when this pandemic began, the federal government, along with our provincial government, sent a clear and consistent message. Do not travel. Ce message n'a pas changé. Si vous avez pris la décision de voyager, même si on vous demande de ne pas le faire, vous avez pris la décision d'augmenter vos risques de contacter ces virus. We are trying to minimize the risk of you bringing the virus to New Brunswick and spreading it further. The plan is not perfect, and we're still working out the details, but these steps are necessary. Notre but est de garder notre province dans la phase de l'adaptation autant que possible. En même temps, nous aidons à nous assurer que notre système de soins de santé ne devient pas d'abordé. We are seeing that happen right now in Ontario, where healthcare professionals are being forced to make heartbreaking choices about who receives care and who doesn't. We cannot let that happen here. These isolation requirements are not forever, and we must realize, although we're all tired of COVID, we just need to stay vigilant, and we just need to do so for another 10 weeks at minimum. But we know that we will need to continue as we all get vaccinated. But I'm still counting on summer. And right now, the summer starts July 1st, and that's going to be our focus. But can we achieve it? We can only do it together. And we can do it if we're vigilant, and we can do it when you take vaccines when they're offered to you. We need to reach that threshold. In approximately 30 days, we hope to be in a place where we're able to ease restrictions or to reevaluate our situation. De plus, nous réévaluerons ces restrictions régulièrement et nous ferons les changements nécessaires pour garder les gens de Nouveau-Brunswick en santé et en sécurité. Today, Cabinet and the All-Party Cabinet Committee on COVID-19 also made the decision that high schools will not be returning to a full-time in-person learning this school year. Given what is going on around us, it just didn't make any sense to change at this time. I want to take this opportunity to thank all the healthcare professionals in our province and those who have recently stepped forward and offered to go to Ontario to assist that province with their response to COVID-19. I am proud to say that New Brunswickers are always ready to help out in any way they can, and we continue to demonstrate that in every way. Of those who have expressed interest, we've identified approximately 27 who have looked at going, and they're being evaluated now in terms of the needs in Ontario and in terms of their availability. We will be forwarding a list of available resources to Ontario today through our mutual aid protocols and anticipate that some of these people will be called upon in the coming days based on the need in Ontario. I also want to thank the truck drivers who continue to work so hard to keep goods flowing into and out of our province. It is important that the truck drivers who regularly cross borders into other provinces and the United States remain healthy. That is why we continue to make them a priority and have even increased that in the last several weeks. I am pleased to report that more and more truckers have been signing up to get vaccinated. Truckers, thank you for your service throughout this pandemic as we continue in these late stages of the pandemic and the view to looking forward to better results in the near weeks and months. Please continue to protect yourself and to get vaccinated. And although the current rules and the changing rules are not easy, we respect that. But it's all in an effort to keep you safe and to continue to keep our residents safe. Unfortunately, travel-related cases of COVID-19 continue to increase, and the variants are putting New Brunswickers at risk. By taking swift and decisive action, we will reduce the risk of infection and protect lives while we continue our vaccine rollout. Rien de tout cela n'a été facile, mais nous faisons de progrès. J'encourage tout le monde à continuer à travailler ensemble afin de s'assurer qu'ils sont en santé et en sécurité, tout comme leur est chez leur communauté. If you are eligible for a vaccine, make your appointment and get one. Thank you. Merci.